Is showcasing your command, but also the trust that your coaches have in you in executing this offense.
A little T formation maybe for Woody Hayes here at Ohio State from Chip.
And everybody's kind of on a pitch count. We used to say the 1,000 rep club. When you get 1,000 reps, why are you still continuing? Because your body just the wear and tear. So thud is full speed until you get to
1-2 punch that there is in college football.
And I think the one thing that Chip Kelly is going to bring to this offense is expanded run game now. Ohio State's also going to be a perfect fit what Chip Kelly likes to do.
One of the most innovative offensive minds in college football. There you see a little end around for Ballard, Joel.
He wants to do a good job with the first drive. Take care of the football. Already got the ball in midfield, so let's see what happens here.
There's Q, guys. Quinshon Judkins here. It's Carey.
Very business school of depreciating asset, Brady.
Yeah, can I get a dictionary down here? I don't know.
And here we go.
Will Howard's opening drive has a Buckeye. Little pump and go here. Looking for the end zone and incomplete.
Him to do, he's capable of.
Third down for Will Howard. The pressure did get there, and Buckeye fans
See that happen. And 80,000 people want to see the darn ball in the end zone.
That's right.
Get so upset. So let's go, man. Get rid of the ball.
saying nobody wants to see the punter or Joe McGuire.
Not unless you're Iowa.
He's just doing his job. Hey, there's Lincoln Keenholz on for the second series. So, and there's a botched exchange.
Quarterback, if you've got to do a good job, make sure you put it in that mesh point and ride it all the way through.
To the outside, there is Jeremiah Smith.
Jeremiah Smith. Coach, Jeremiah Smith, what can you tell us about number 4?
He's got a chance to be special. He really does. Today, we're going to be careful with him, but he's got a chance to be special.
Well, I mean, guys, you've seen some of the clips on social media. Here's another carry for number 4 here. And the twos, when they get out here like this, oh gosh, he's about 6'3", 6'4", 215, almost 220 pounds. But it's the ease with which he moves, his fluidity, and from what I saw, so
many years ahead of, I think, where most young men are at this age. So I understand what comes along with that statement, but this young man's going to tear up college.
To change the great state of Ohio, that's going to change your program. It's going to make the head coach's life a little easier.
I had the chance to talk with their strength and conditioning coach, Mickey Marotti, who, they do the pre-plays, and maybe there's some wrinkles here and there with the run game. The terminology is going to be the exact same.
Well, that's the history of Chip Kelly and Ryan Day as well. I mean, Ryan Day is in high school at Manchester Central.
Dan Mullen was from right down the street, too. Chip Kelly, Dan Mullen, and Ryan Day.
It is a history that goes a long way back. So Devin Brown in the offense with some
much different scenario. You were evaluating everything in this situation because you don't know the quarterback. And Brady, when you have 7 quarterbacks on a roster, or 3 or 4, they have to get reps.
Right. Get with Coach here. Coach, take me to how you evaluate your guys, Will and Devin, in a thud tempo style.
And then how do they keep things on schedule? And then also, how do they convert on third down? I think, right here, that's a big third down pickup.
Important, but also the decision making, getting that ball out of your hand quickly.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you can't take sacks, especially down here in the red zone. You want to get vertical right there. Right there, you pick up about 4 or 5 yards. Now the ball's on the 17-yard line. So now you
and play caller Chip Kelly.
Brady, let's talk about the red zone a little bit. The ability to have a quarterback become your equalizer. There's no more important.
A runner. I wasn't much of a runner, but when I got in the red zone, believe me, I was looking to take off if I could.
Third down on the roll. Devin Brown ends up at the sideline. This defense, I think we've learned in the first couple series. The transfer you're talking about, Seth McLaughlin from Alabama. You saw Jim Knowles talking about Coach Meyer over on the right side of that offensive line. And now we see the depth of the quarterback room. Another Alabama transfer officially, Julian Sayin, as he drops it off for T.C. Caffey on the catch.
And understands the game. He's been very well coached in his career in high school. But they say this guy could be something special.
There's no doubt about it. You can see he's got that quick release, but he spins the football well.
Avocado League title in California for Julian Sayin. It's a different feeling. But you were talking about that, Coach, that when you are in this environment, it does change your heart rate, right? What did you see? Third down for Sayan, climbing the pocket, and the walls collapse again, Joel.
Yeah, Coach, how about the Woody Hayes nod from Chip?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You know, he loves kind of, you know, being creative about stuff. He's got to
And he finds ways of getting to edges, setting up the run game. And if you couldn't stop it, he will not be afraid to run it again and again and again and again until you can't say preparing for his games because of his offensive mind.
Saw Will Howard with his hands to his head. They're testing out the whole new communication system in college football. There's a lot to talk.
Receivers to come through Ohio State.
And Marvin Harrison Jr. himself was one of those. Certainly, Jenny, I was going to say, he looked very serious as you were standing there talking to Emeka. And
Intensity surrounding this group, and I think that's what excites all of us. And I know Joel's going to chat with Coach Hartline as well about the potential of the group.
I'm just looking at Coach's reaction.
Coach Meyer is cringing because we're talking with everyone during the game. I got Coach Hartline right here, fellas, and we were just talking about your lineage of great players, you know, first-round wide they're capable of.
And obviously the parents, the families are phenomenal, but to then take them to the next level is our goal.
So what are you looking for today? Because you got some veterans.
Yeah, Beck coming back says a lot. You know, I mean, it's to him wanting to be here. He's already graduated, so it wasn't about graduating. It was just unfinished business. He wanted to lead this group. He wanted to be his room.
scary stuff.
That's what allowed him to be an NFL caliber wide receiver too, is all the little things, how detailed he was, and he shares that and brings that to the way he coaches up these young men. You can see why they're so
To have the veteran as well, because you know, starting all the way back with Terry McLaurin and KJ Hill and those guys, Harris, those guys, it just kind of there was old
Perimeter, run game goes sideways, and they become selfish players about getting the ball. And that becomes, every young player is selfish. If you have veteran players.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
can make a catch like that. I think I would be.
A one-handed catch, just like that. That's why you should watch
Yeah,
this.
receivers that make catches like that, right?
This is unbelievable.
From down here, that ball
Almost
looks like a
ridiculous.
borderline throwaway. And then he
Step
goes
his
up like that
tiptoes
one-handed.
cross.
What a remarkable great to have him back for another year. Now he's basically like a
Hot.
beard. He's like,
Let's watch this right here. Watch this.
Oh.
Well, we gotta get the ball to
Really plays good in these games, so
Brady. Those are the best
instant
guys in the
replay
world.
back.
Yes, it is. I was just going to say this epitomizes to the reaction from Coach Day when Jeremiah Smith committed to come to Ohio State. You can see why, as a true freshman, getting that sort of treatment.
It's the first incompletion for Will Howard on the drive. 6 for 7. We've seen both running backs. He goes for the back of the end zone, and it's incomplete. Igbinosun on the cover. Crowd wanted Henderson to go to the house a couple of plays ago, but it was blown dead as they play the thud system with the ones to the end zone. And that's a really tough catch there for Ibuka to
He
make.
tried to do the then to go for it, or go for it and risk it for the biscuit,
That's how it looks.
or
It looks
go
like
for a
they'll
field
throw
goal.
coverage. Everyone's stuck
That's
on
the
everyone.
only
Can't get much
choices
separation.
to do.
Well, Mark
That
Pantoni,
one-handed
again,
catch
I was
was
in that
crazy.
conversation. When he says that, this could be one of the best secondaries in college football.
They're certainly going to
And
need
the kick
depth. And as you look at a team that's
It's
trying to go changes, Joel, I believe you've got Chip Kelly in a moment
first
here
and
now.
10. Hike the ball.
With Chip Kelly, that's a nice run from Lincoln right there. So
Room. I, as a head coach, you're in the meeting room all the time, but you're in and out. But I hadn't been in a meeting room on a consistent basis since 2008 when I was an assistant. I was a little kid, so when he called and we talked about it a little bit, it was intriguing.
well, it's obviously a great fit because different skill position players that you got to get the ball.
We do, and I think that's our job as a coaching staff. I think we got an unbelievable staff here on the offensive side of the ball. That
Call it one thing that you really want to see here today.
just production. When can you move a group? We're rotating a lot of quarterbacks. Everybody's going to get reps, and who gets to move them.
How was it when your former pupil ran over here and he started barking some calls? He said, no more of that play.
That play wasn't working. That was a good call by him.
There we go. Good to see.
To be a play caller now, that's a full-time job. That's an 8 to 10 hour a day job when you're getting ready. It wasn't that way. You remember the early days, teams ran very simple.
Yeah, there's only so many hours in the day, so how do you spend your time? And when you're trying to call plays, you have to come up with these contingency plans for all the different constantly playing the game in your head and trying to do that before you actually get on the field. So you're making decisions in a different environment than actually the stress of a game. So it takes a long time.
Involved in defense and special teams as well.
Yeah, there's no question. You and I have talked about that. I think you're exactly right. I mean, in today's day and age, the amount of time it takes and everything that's going on, I just think it's so important in the team. So I think this is an opportunity to really free some of that time up.
And especially as your roster build, right? I mean, the roster build, like early December. You think about early December
To find ways to adapt. I mean, that's the most important thing in today's day and age. And I think that here we've done that. And that's been the support of so many people. Certainly players coming back and the culture that these guys have continued to enhance. You have to be ready for extremes, but the ball's got to come out and that quarterback. You got to take care of it, and you got to make sure you understand the type of throws you got to make. So you got to throw top shelf throws. You got to throw down and dirty throws.
Touchdown!
Got a nice
Man, and got his eyes in the right spot.
How much
Perfect
faster does
spot.
that have to come out, Brady?
Maybe a tick. Like coaches would say, it's tough to police these guys, but just ran with a nice catch in the back of the end zone.
And then once again, that was an RPO, as you heard Coach Day said. That means that's a run first. He was reading, I think he was reading the walkout defender there. He triggered and threw the ball over his head.
Devin Brown 3 for 3 on the drive, 50 yards, a 10-yard run as well. And Brennan Schramm, the sophomore.
these people try to run a 2-minute drill.
Coach Meyer, what are you watching here?
Like Coach Day said, this is all production. This will be charted. This will be exactly, you got the ball in your hand.
Points. It's not the end of the game where you got to have something to win it, so not going to be taking too big a risk here.
James Peoples, a couple of touches. He will get out of bounds situationally to set up.
The field is about repetition and opportunities in situations like this. These are priceless situations for quarterback.
Hard run for Peoples and a first down.
You see Coach Day, he has not been this active all day long, and now he is in it, talking to Julian, telling them little coaching points, wanting Julian to come out here and play in front of this many people and tell the Bullets are live, and so this is an invaluable opportunity.
And just think about the situation, Joel and Brady, is Ohio State.
But yeah,
It's
potentially,
right
yeah.
into when the wind's blowing hard from basically far sideline to near sideline. See, that one's getting hit by the wind and it got undercut.
That's exactly what happened. It's picked off, and so this great defense has a second interception in the ball game. They're going to blow it dead. Jalen McClain doesn't care, though. He's going to the house because he wants to.
Full side doesn't care. You don't
Instant replay
understand
and
the
an
speed
amazing
of it
touchdown.
because practice, even to a spring game,
You can really expect this, but he doesn't care about the officials.
throws, you can get away with just using your arms
He hits him,
into the wind.
but that doesn't count as a tackle. He has to sit down.
Ultimately matter in practice.
But the officials kind of poopy garbage.
Feel a full rush. You got people in the stands, and you understand now that you got to get in there and you got to rip it on time. Those are all learning experiences.
On college
Game, and he's a young player and still learning, so a little different as compared to if it was Will Howard, Devin Brown, when those guys make those sorts of mistakes. That's something he's going to learn as time moves on. He's going to
the
impact
wide
it
side,
most.
Brady.
Yep.
But he's going to have to sit with that, right? He doesn't have a ton of experiences here at Ohio State, so that's his knowledge of what he did in this game. And now Jude Mitchell with
Sticks out, you're going to improve upon. It's also something that you can't hang on. He's going to get a lot of reps here in the second half.
That's a good check down right there. It doesn't look like it, but we can get close to the first. Now you got to get going.
2nd and 3 here. They've used a timeout, 24 seconds.
halftime, and we will skip
The
half.
final drive of this first half as this goes to David Aiden.
Get the ball out.
How much from Jim Knowles is the question.
Get rid of it.
Line held up for a minute, but here came the pressure.
And he throws it out. 16 seconds left.
Just no awareness of the situation.
Here he comes.
Let's see what happens here.
This way he will throw it. And 8-yard field goal.
Field goal.
It's up. And it is no good. He
So
missed
he's
it.
feeling the pain for a field goal attempt.
Have beasts on that front seven, which Ohio State does. You're in every game, and you have a chance to win it all.
Joel, from field level, how salty is this defense?
It's very good. In fact, that was the whole discussion. I went back with the team in the walk to do what we do, make our checks, make our adjustments. On the offensive side, it was a little more salty, I can tell you that, in terms of their lack of production so far in the first half. But from field level, guys,
I hadn't heard that. How deep is the secondary, Joel, do you think?
Well, let's put it this way. We're seeing what they can do here today, which is, as good of a secondary as we've seen in a long time. I would go back to that 19th secondary for Ohio State, 2019. Oh, almost another one. Almost another. Guys, every time you're seeing them, and so every one of those is coming up short, and the defense is going to have a chance.
The timing was there, just not the placement for where the ball needed to be. But that was a little better getting the ball out of injury. Something I suffered through, and trust me, that is not an easy injury to recover from.
What's it feel like, Brady? Oh, deep ball down the sideline and a comeback attempt. And it's in.
These are the catches that Jeremiah Smith has been making all spring in practice.
He drops the
Corralled that one
ball.
in.
A little surprised. Well, Jeremiah Smith is still in the ball game here, but he's a young. I get it. He's a young player. But I rechecked when I saw number 4 out there.
You'll notice something though. Whenever he is in the game, usually he's
What you're seeing, and Brady just alluded to it, you haven't seen him make that catch or get that rhythm, and maybe that's why they're trying to establish.
double Coffin, baby.
Yeah,
There you go.
I thought you'd get to that before I did. We were close. To the sideline, and that's right to a defensive player. It's Inky.
Jack Merrick, the tight end, stumbles out of his break. Otherwise, the ball was actually in a decent spot.
You gonna challenge that, Coach Meyer?
If I'm Coach Day, I'm just looking at the clock. Let's get this bad boy going.
40 minutes in this second half is what the depth of the Ohio State Buckeyes is going to be. These guys that you're seeing, someone's going to have to go play.
With a transfer portal, you never know where you're all of a sudden, again, having a guy go from being a few plays away to 1 play away, and then all of a sudden thrust it in as your
Is that I was at Oregon 2 days ago, and they had yellow, green, and white teams. They weren't saying first, second, third string because they were worried about losing guys. Oh, until April 30th. And a lot of that is getting these guys playing time and making decisions and giving them opportunities.
So the portal opens, Coach, Tuesday is what you're talking about. I think it's a big reason why Chip Kelly is standing over there calling plays.
I thought what he said to you, Joel, is going to be like a bumper sticker on territory. But again, with the length of this season, we're talking about a national championship game on January the 20th, Joel. So not only we're talking 16
down after the regular season and have a transfer period and a signing day, and then we try to play more football is wild. And I think that should be changed. But
Let's see what happens here. Yeah, we should be able to throw this one right behind him. Wow, boy, he decided to hand it off. We get in?
You want a touchdown, Coach?
All right.
There you go.
I would have thrown it, but we'll take it.
James Peoples, the touchdown.
fans who have concerns about the offensive line with the physicality, moving some bodies. Peoples finds the hole, and it's all just drive and effort from there.
Coach Meyer.
Down a little bit in the Big Ten. I'm curious, Coach, how you view teams like UCLA, USC. We've got to construct a roster now that's going to be able to compete with the physicality, the size, and those sorts of things that are hard to prepare for.
Yeah, we're going to get a text from Matt Leinart here in a
In
minute.
3, 2, 1.
But that is a reality, and that is something that Dan Lanning mentioned to me at Oregon about the Big Ten Conference. It's a complete...
Mile-wise to get to Augusta? That's the real question.
man, rub it in.
Aaron Noland into the ball game. Joel, we've seen Aaron Noland get out.
This is going to be more basic offense here, but have a plan of where you want to go with the football.
It was a quick set, quick throw.
A lot of different pieces mixing at the quarterback spot, so again, the defense should be ahead of the offense at this point.
Noland got it to the fringe for Kojo Antwi.
Well, obviously, I know the inner workings of the Ohio State program, just being so close with Coach Day, and they say he's just a football junkie, has great experience.
After he went from Duke to Oklahoma State, just think about that era of Big 12 ball when he was the head coach. Good run here, right down the middle.
It's a touchdown. Sam Williams-Dixon, the freshman from Pickerington. Fans' ears really well blocked up front. Joel, you were saying that Big 12 era was like tempo.
It was super high tempo, lots of shots down the field.
So much for chatting, and truly, what's so special about these spring games? And guys want to come back, you want to be a part of this. So I do want to ask you, Jeff, when you were playing at Ohio State, how did this potential of this group, what are you most excited about? How impressed have you been with the way they've progressed the last couple years?
Yeah, they've been looking good. Picked it up for sure from the past seasons.
See the factory that we've been putting out the last few years.
Enjoy it, enjoy it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Jenny, hold on.
Yeah, what do you got?
I've got a quick question for Denzel.
Okay.
You got barbecue back?
Appreciate it.
I love the memories, man. College football,
it's
like
great.
no matter what this turns into, it's all memories in the end. For Sam Williams-Dixon, who's going to remember this day for a while, you'd have to imagine.
Those DBs are two of the lineage.
Low snap. We haven't seen very much in terms of cavalier.
They recruited guys, became household names in the great state of Ohio and national champions, and forever they became extremely close. You know, I think of Paris.
I believe Ezekiel Elliott is
Became, in my mind, one of the top backs in Ohio State history.
Joel, any positions that you want Coach Meyer to rank while we're at it?
Did you do quarterbacks?
To the text chain.
Oh, that he doesn't love him. He doesn't love him. I just know he's kicked up on the couch somewhere hanging out.
Yeah, he is.
His phone's blowing up. He's like, what? Why? I'm trying to have lunch.
Let's talk about animals.
You added when you were here, Coach. Take people through that tradition you started.
Yeah, it was actually started in 2001 at Bowling Green. I just wanted to have, we don't believe in hazing, but you want to also have people.
And you have to make an impression. These spring games are really those opportunities for a guy like Aaron Nolan, who's making a solid impression so far today, but so many others too that are really.
Players know. Coaches think they know. Players
Because you have the big brother take it off, right?
Right.
Was there a whole ceremony?
Well, I was asking him too. I said, were there any players that you were like, nah, that's probably not big brother material? You know, I think that's a great.
Third down and 6 here for the offense. Final play of quarter number 3. Nolan for Juke Mitchell.
Good throw right there, guys.
He's got a lot.
Jason, I hear you got a question for these guys?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Jack, because he mentioned being in year
more
3.
question for ya.
What does he think he knows in year 3 that he didn't in year 2? Like, where's the progression going to be?
Trust my abilities, go out there and play confident.
Any other questions from the guys upstairs?
No, we're all good. We'll
You're all good?
see if we can talk to Jim Knowles here in a little bit.
We're
Just
going to talk
to see.
to Jim Knowles. What do we need to ask him? Anything?
We offered Jack Sawyer as a freshman from 15 minutes from here. That's how dominant a player. That was back in the Bosa era. We saw the Bosa type.
Coach, how do you learn about depth other than situations like this? As you're watching practice.
Mike Thomas all of a sudden grew up one day like, wait a minute, that's Mike Thomas now. As opposed to that's one of the great things about coaching college players, the development of people. And Ohio State and Mickey Marotti does as good as anybody.
I know Coach Day talked about they feel like they're going to have the ability to run the quarterback a little bit because they're so deep at quarterback. The competition, nice. Good breakup right there. Got a flag.
It's Deontay Griffin, and the first penalty of the game.
43, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Guys, I'm here with defensive coordinator Jim Knowles and Coach.
Particularly against the Chip Kelly offense. Things happen really, really quickly.
Coach, what are you looking at to make those calls? Take us through what you're doing right now.
Multitasking. Coach Meyer, you have friends everywhere in this place, don't you?
I do. I have a great friend. Great touchdown run there.
TC Caffey with the touchdown.
The defensive staff is not happy with me down here because
There's a lot of changes going on.
There's no question about it. I think the model for intercollegiate athletics is going to change, but I tell people all the time, whatever the powers to be do,
Ohio State.
there's no question. 1% of these guys are going to go pro. The rest of them got to go find a job or they got to go to grad school. So we can't lose that focus. For a practice, it's kind of amazing.
If I would have asked you when Coach Meyer was coaching here, hey, can we talk to players? Can we interview Coach during the game?
One quick Gene Smith story about.
Yeah.
So Nike came in every year and they would always say, okay, tell us about the uniforms. And they bring in these beautiful.
Well, Gene, an absolute pleasure to have you.
That's a pleasure. I really appreciate it. Appreciate everything that you guys do. And appreciate you broadcasting this game. I think this is going to be
Year, as you were talking about it, Coach, this game seems to change a little bit, but there's going to be more opportunity in the college football playoff as the defense gets there like that.
Man, I like the shoe. Well, part of it is that I think that the unique nature of the college game is that we have non-corporate advantage.
Yeah, and for the fans. You know, I know we do this really more to find out champion, do it for the student athletes, but also for the fans. Having that home field environment, can you imagine a playoff game in the shoe and what that would be like?
It's Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, the Wolverines, Oregon, Texas, Ole Miss, Utah. Notre Dame was right there on the edge, but I would always evaluate those 8 teams and say, what do they have that we don't have? We have to stay up in that. So that's why I don't really look at the
talent out around them. I would say it's probably more 10 or 12 in my opinion, especially with the expanded playoff. You never know in a one-game sudden death scenario how that's going to impact some of these teams. But I'm surprised you even put them on the list, Coach.
Well, they've got it going right now. They're the man until you beat the man, I guess.
That's right. I'll do the promo. You don't have to say anything, Coach. Next set. Overlap between the two.
You have to keep eye on your competition,
People
right?
love college football.
Every day.
And that's right. And they, by the way, they love Joel Klatt.
No,
So
okay. They're both watching each other. This is what, hey guys, think about this. Rivalries drive by because Michigan just won a national championship. You know, you watch each other and you have to compete against your rivals.
Copyright of the Kansas City of Ohio.
Yeah, we'll see it all the way through the season.
I saw one at Mercedes-Benz once. I didn't see the M X'd out on that Mercedes-Benz that Cornell had.
You think it depends on the car?
I don't know.
How about that? It's a long way to go for Aaron Nolan to try to create, and instead it's Deontay Griffin, who was called for the penalty earlier. He wants to run all the way to Cleveland, and he's just going to keep going.
For the win!
The great
This
team
is
together.
Bull.